Shalom, welcome to another video, and as always, before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Wadash, and next double honors to the head apostles / elder bishops of the great millstone, who teach and who rule well, peace, blessings, and safety. To all you sincere Akim, keep pushing, keep believing, and keep the faith, regardless of what the people hear or what they forbear. It's going to be a quick reading of Psalms chapter 1. All right, and it's a very simple chapter. All right, it's only a few verses long, but it's one of my favorites in the Bible. I keep saying, man, every time I make a video on a chapter, I say it's one of my favorites. The whole Bible is my favorite, man. It's the greatest book ever to have existed. All right, but okay, this chapter does reveal, different truth, just like all the chapters of the Bible. All right, but let's go ahead and dive right into it. Yahweh wretches, I mean, the Heavenly Father's will is edifying to the elect. All right, Psalms 1:1. It says, "Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful." Okay, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. The ungodly is Esau, Edom, the wicked. Okay, and of course, you could add 2/3 of our people into that, who have taken on the characteristics of Esau. "Nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful." Let me get that word for scornful. All right, Strong's H3887. It's a verb. All right, to scorn, it says to scoff at, to make offend, to offend with thy mouth. All right, it says to have in derision, to make a mockery of, to scorn. It also says a teacher, okay, a false teacher. All right, it says to scorn, to talk arrogantly, to boast. All right, so the scriptures say he resisted the proud, but give grace to the humble. All right, it says to be inflated, to scoff, act as a scorner, to show oneself as a mocker. All right, so if you're in that lot, just know the Lord's going to destroy you very brutally. All right, you're going to get some of the worst punishment of all the people on the earth, a scorner, a scoffer. All right, continuing on. Psalms 1:2. "But his delight is in the law of Yahweh, for in his law doeth he meditate day and night." Okay, the blessed man. Okay, he in his law does he meditate day and night. Sounds very Christian. That sounds very opposite to the anti-Christians. Okay, they hate the law of the Heavenly Father. They don't want nothing to do with it. "And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper." Okay, and matter of fact, Yahweh Shai spoke on this. Okay, a tree that bringeth forth fruit. All right, well, how do you bring forth fruit? By meditating on the commandments of the Heavenly Father. All right, and then living them out, doing them. Okay, let's get that precept. Luke chapter 6, down at verse, let's see, Luke 6 and verse, where's it at? Oh, you know what? This ain't the one I'm thinking of. Here it is, Matthew 7, my bad. Matthew chapter 7 and verse 16. "You shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit." And here's the point in verse 19 I'm reading that I was going to get to. "Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire." Okay, so the man, as we read here in Psalms 1:3, all right, the man whose delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night, he should be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. All right, it's that living water that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. Fire. It says, "The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away." Okay, and what is that wind? That's a destroying wind. Okay, going into the nuclear missiles. Talk about in Jeremiah 51, 51st chapter. I will raise up against Babylon a destroying wind. Okay, Babylon is a land of the ungodly, ruled over by the ungodly, Esau, Edom. It says, therefore, the ungodly shall not stand in the day of judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. Let me get this precept right quick. All right, the wind is going to drive them away. Okay, it talks about the east wind in the book of Job. Okay, the east wind. Let's get that right quick. Here it is, Job 27. Okay, the east wind is talking about the nuclear missiles coming from the east. Okay, this is Job 27. And let's see. Job 27, and I'm going to start at verse 13. Okay, this is the portion of a wicked man with the Most High, and the heritage of oppressors, which they shall receive of the Almighty. If his children be multiplied, it is for the sword, and his offspring shall not be satisfied with bread. Those that remain of him shall be buried in death, and his widows shall not weep. Though he heap up silver as the dust, and prepare raiment as the clay, he may prepare it, but the just shall put it on, and the innocent shall divide the silver. He buildeth his house as a moth, and as a booth that the keeper maketh. The rich man shall lie down, but he shall not be gathered. He openeth his eyes, and he is not. Who's the rich man? Esau, Edom. Okay, the so-called white man, starting off with their elite banking families. All right, it says, terrors take hold on him as waters. A tempest stealeth him away in the night. The east wind carrieth him away, and he departeth, and as a storm hurleth him out of his place. For the Most High shall cast upon him, and not spare, and he would fain flee out of his hand. Okay, so there you go. All right, that's that east wind, that nuclear. Okay, let me get that right quick. The destroying wind. Let's just go ahead and get it. I'm quoting it, but let me read it to you, so you can see for yourself. Jeremiah 51:1. Thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will raise against Babylon, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind. And will send into Babylon fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her land, for in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifteth up himself up in his brigadine, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her host. Okay, so the destroying wind is going to come from these arrows. All right, that's why I was talking about bending the bow. All right, a bow is where you shoot arrows out of. That represents those with nuclear capabilities. They're going to shoot arrows at Babylon the Great. Okay, and that's what's going to cause that destroying wind. Okay, the east wind, which is going to carry the rich man away, as we read in Job 27. All right, so once again, Psalms 1:5. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For Yahweh knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. Okay, so you Edomites are through. All right, but that's, hey, you would never, most people would read this chapter and have no idea that there's that much meat in this 6 verses in Psalms, the first chapter. But just wanted to read that to you guys, quick chapter reading. So that's it. I'm going to close it out there. Heavenly Father's will is edifying as always. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, and until next time, Shalom, and Abide Babal.